Okay, so we're doing my Bieber experience and
3 Bieber experiences.
well, three for me.
We're just all together.
Yeah, that. So I went to three and she's gone to two concerts. Um, it started with it was around 2009 when we both started really liking him, and then he obviously made those posts on YouTube, and then the big thing that I saw that really got my attention was when he was performing on New Year's, and I think it was 2009 or 10, one of those. And when he performed, I was like, oh, he's really cute and he's really good.
He had the cutest little laugh. I remember hearing him talk and he was just like giggling. Okay.
And then he brought Selena up onto the stage, and then that whole thing started. But so it was November 21st, my first concert of 2012, and I had been a believer for 3 years at that point.
Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 years at that point.
But her family couldn't really afford the ticket, but neither could we. So
we were going to.
Yeah, we tried to, but the credit card maxed out because I was going with my other friend. We tried to get her tickets.
We aren't really friends with her anymore. She's kind of
weird. But
I just don't like her.
Yeah, she's creepy. But so. Oh well. So where was I? Oh yeah. So we were buying the tickets, and we were. What am I trying to say? We were buying the tickets. It was on a Saturday or Sunday, something like that, and the card only allowed 4 tickets to be bought, and then we were trying to add them, but it wouldn't allow another 2.
I remember we were at school. We were in English class. I remember it so well. We kept cornering eyes at each other. I'm like, we're gonna get him. And then I get home. I'm like, oh, we didn't.
Yeah, and we tried to keep asking the teacher to leave. She goes, you guys are like acting really weird.
We wanted to call our parents. Like, did we get the tickets? But
because he's Justin Bieber. It sells out like that. But anyways, so I go there and we didn't have floor tickets, but they weren't bad seats at all. They were like right on the side, like second row area. But then that was like a really, really good experience. But then
July, it was like, okay, the whole story was she was tricking me and she wanted me to come over to her house. She was like, bring a Bieber shirt and like we're gonna go for a little road trip. And I was like, okay, but it sounded like really weird to me. I was like, why would we go on a road trip? And
her mom was going to.
Oh, and then she was like, wear some waterproof makeup because you might get wet. Like, you might get wet at, like, a water park or something. I was like, it's Bieber. I'm going to be crying. That's why she wants me to wear waterproof and wear my Bieber stuff. So my mom's like, I know what's going on, but it's just, you don't. I was like, I think I know what's going on. And so I come over to her house, and she told me what we were going to do. I was like,
no, we said it. We told you in the car.
Oh, yeah.
We were on the way.
Oh, yeah. We were in the car, and she was like, so we're going to Cleveland. And that's where Justin's show was that day. I'm like,
she starts freaking out.
I was crying. Like, we went down their ticket list, and we just went there just to, like, see his bus and maybe see him, get a little glimpse.
Saw his hair.
Oh my gosh, we saw him in the bus.
And, like, he was really late, so there was only, like, 20 people out there. And so we were freaking out when he came in. I was like, I was crying.
Word. I remember it. Like, we got there at like 10 a.m. and we ended up leaving and got home at like 2 a.m. the next day. But anyways, so we were waiting there forever, and bus after bus would come, but it wasn't him. But then, like, 2 black buses came around the corner. They were at a stop, like, 2 black buses came. One with flashing lights, one with horns honking like wild. And we were like, this is Justin. I was shaking so bad. My mom had to hold us up on the barricades because we were shaking so bad. We were trying to, like, stand up on it. And
so we were, before he came, it was like 12, and so at that time there were a lot of believers, not a lot, but there were like 30, 40 believers there, and we kept on going into the street, so the bodyguards were like, okay guys, get onto the other side behind the barricades. Being the crazy person I am, hurdled that barricade like, oh my gosh.
It
like
got
I
better
literally,
on the 28th.
It was like up high. Like
yeah,
it was like this high to me, and I took my one arm and I leaped my whole body over. And
Bieber, what did you do about it?
Like I needed a spot at the railing, and I was gonna get it, whatever it took.
Yeah,
I would kill someone.
So after Justin had came, we were like looking at our parents like, do we leave? Do we wait for him to come out? So we were still waiting out there for a long time. But then these two ladies came out, and we were up. A bunch of people had like started leaving, going into the concert, so we were like up towards the way front, and there weren't many people waiting outside. So we were about to leave. The two ladies come out, they're yelling, they're like, does anyone need tickets? Who needs tickets? And me and Kelsey look at each other, and then we're like, we need tickets. And so I'm like getting the chills.
I know. Okay. I'm like, what?
But they come over to us, and they said 30 for each or 20 for each?
It was 30, but then they knocked it down to 20 because
we
didn't have enough.
We got 2 tickets for $50. And then my mom had explained how long we had been out there and how my mom shouldn't even be in the sun because should I explain that?
Just say what it is.
Just like she wasn't supposed to be in the sun because she has breast cancer and she had just had radiation. She's like, I don't even think I was supposed to be in the sun. So the 2 ladies heard that she had breast cancer, so they were like, can we pray with you? I was like,
and then her and I just lost it. Like, oh my gosh.
Like when they said, do you need tickets? And then we looked at her, mom's like, please. It was such a low price. We were like, please. I was already crying.
And this was her first concert.
Yeah, this is my first concert. And we were both like bawling already because just like they asked us if we needed tickets. And we were like, yeah, we want tickets. And so we're like, Mom, please. So our moms are digging through our wallets. We're like, and so finally they're like, oh, 2 tickets for $50. We're like, yes. And so we were bawling, and then like just the thought they like took the time to pray for my mom. I was like, okay, thank you. And so then like they went, and it was only 2 tickets, so we were without our moms, which was kind of interesting. But
it was really
they were like rushing us in, and I was like shaking, I was bawling, emotions were flying everywhere, and we were going through the ticket thing, and they're like, no, I just want you guys to know they need to respect your moms and how great your moms are. I was like, yeah.
But I called my dad because my dad wasn't there, obviously, I was crying so hard that he could not understand me, and my mom had to talk to him. I was like, it's so crazy just to think about now. Like, makes me want to cry just because he has changed my life, and like he's always been there for us, even though he doesn't know me on a personal level. Just those tweets saying like, I love you guys, love you my believers, and I'm there for you, and just everything he does for us is, and I know he's been through a lot, but
I remember calling my dad too. I was like, I couldn't believe it was happening. Like Justin Bieber, I was going into an arena where he was at currently, and so we go through the security, we give the person our ticket, and I'm looking at the ticket. I'm like, oh my god. I mean, they weren't the best seats.
Not at all. It was really high up.
I mean, it didn't feel real at all. And I couldn't even explain to my mom after the concert. Like, it was crazy. But they were like nosebleed section. But it was great. And like when he came out, the countdown started. Like the 10-minute countdown, and I was already bawling. Like I started crying. But then like he finally came out. I was like, and they saw you so long.
They do. Oh my gosh.
And I'm like bawling here. I'm like, where's Justin?
And there's like this little girl next to us, and she was like maybe 7 or 8, and she's looking up at us when he gets out, and we're like dying, and we look at her and we're like, okay, this is a Justin Bieber concert, and she kept on throwing that glow stick all over. I'm like, girl, no,
I'm like,
get that out of my face.
That glow stick is unnecessary.
It was about to be trucked across the arena.
Okay. And I was right next to her too. She was like waving it in my face. I'm like just trying to ignore it and have a good time. And she's looking up at me. She's like, what is her problem? Like, you know what? Go somewhere.
I'm a believer. Sorry.
Oh my word. But it was just, it was crazy. And I was so worn out after that day. And I was falling asleep in her car. We were on the way home. I was falling asleep, and as I was like falling asleep, I was just thinking like I just saw Justin Bieber live in concert. Like I could not believe it, and I was up all night. I was like, cause I slept for like 2 hours in the car, and I was up all night thinking about it. I was like,
Yeah, it was.
but July 28th, when we planned it and we were with our moms.
See, a few weeks before July 28th, there was this Essence party, and Patty at that time had been doing book signings at Barnes and Nobles, and so we went into Barnes and Nobles because there was a little arena that we, or not arena, little shopping area that we had to wait at.
It was a contest we went.
Yeah, and
we didn't
win.
But it was cool seeing the girl who did win.
Oh my gosh,
her reaction.
But so we go into Barnes and Nobles and ask, is Patty gonna be here because it's in the same area that the concert was in, and they said yes. And it was the same day of the concert, so I kid you not, I got up at like 6 or 7.
I know, I couldn't wait to get up.
At like 8 in the morning, because it took about an hour and a half to get there. So we got there about 9:30, waited.
We were one of the first people in line.
Yeah, we were the second people to meet her, and which is good because you got more time, and it was interesting meeting her.
Yeah, going into there, I had my book ready. I was like, I was shaking. They put that bracelet around you. I'm like,
I still have it.
I know, I do too. I have it hanging.
It was like, it was so amazing. Like
she was so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
She's so short.
Like
though.
she is such an inspiration. Like everything she has gone through is just, and to see her now is really cool.
Yeah, it was just really nice to meet her because I mean we've all gone through a lot. I know, Justin Bieber's mom of all things, and like I just wanted to tell her like, hey, you mean a lot to me. And she hugged me. I was like, okay.
Right.
And I was like keeping it in for the most part. Like I know Patty could tell that I was about to cry, so she like hugged me. But I was like keeping it in pretty good for the most part. But I come around the corner. She had taken a picture with Patty before me. I come around the corner. She is bawling her eyes out, and so I lose it. I'm like, we just met Patty.
And then people forgot to take the picture. Like they didn't take it all the way, so I had to meet her again. Oh darn.
Oh, yeah, such a bummer.
So, and in the picture, I look like, I was crying, so my eyes are really red. It's rather funny.
Yeah. But then after meeting Patty, we went to the Joe Louis Arena and we waited around for a while, and we saw Cody Simpson.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh.
We saw him in his van. Did we see Mike Posner?
No. But the amount of believers there is, holy cow.
Like walking, it took forever. Like getting out, oh my word, that was terrible. But I just feel like, I know you probably feel the same thing compared to July 13th anyway. Like it felt so much more real, and it was so like I remember my mom crying on July 13th because she was so upset. She felt really happy for me, but she wanted to be there for my first Bieber experience. But it was like the first one didn't feel real. Like it was great to be there, and it's like, hey, I went to my first concert. But it's like being closer on July 28th, like it felt so much more real, and I was like, Mom, this was even better. Like you met Patty with me, you like went to a concert that felt so much more real with me, and like it was great. Like
for definitely the best experience of my life. Like I know I'm gonna start ranting, but I know people say, oh my gosh, Justin Bieber, and they think of him as this bad boy, but when you sit down and think about it, he is quite the opposite. No one knows about it, and that's what makes me mad. Like all the TMZ and all these people just publish all the bad stuff, but when you don't realize how much stuff he does. For every ticket sold at his concert, $1 went to Pencils of Promise, which is a program that builds schools and in places that need it. So he about every night raised $40,000 to $60,000, which
people
means like
don't get that.
3 or 4, 5 nights he's building a school, which is something no one knows. And then he also helped build the schools himself, and is giving so much of his money and time to charities and visiting sick kids in the hospital, but no one hears about that.
They just wait for him to make a mistake and publish it like all over the internet, all over TV and everything. And that's the only thing other people who unlike us, don't understand Justin, and they just see all the bad stuff that is posted, and they just judge him based on that, and that's like really disrespectful if you think about it. Like if I saw someone and they were like limping, I would automatically think like, hey, they have a disability, and like, but like if you see Justin, if someone sees Justin out in public and they don't like Justin, and they had just seen like someone limping with a really bad leg or some kind of condition, they would automatically start judging Justin like, oh, he's got like he peed in a mop bucket. He like was playing
smoking weed.
Yeah, he was playing a guitar butt naked, but they wouldn't look inside, see what was actually wrong with him, just
And
like the person with the disability.
That butt naked picture wasn't even real. They
Right.
edited that. I know all of you are saying, no, they didn't. But yeah, they did. He is way taller than his grandparent, like a giant. Like, I'm not kidding you. He is not that tall. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
So get that out of your head.
Like, they judge him so much differently than they would judge someone else. Like, so much more goes through their head when they're trying to judge us.
Miley Cyrus, she got up on the stage to accept an award and smoked weed. But when Justin did it, like, I know that made the news, but Justin did it, it was so much bigger. I mean, like, everyone cared so much. It's like,
there's teenagers out there who are smoking weed right now, and like people are just going right along with it. But Justin makes a mistake, he smokes weed, and it's just
everyone makes mistakes. That's what people don't get. But when he makes a mistake, it's oh my gosh, we got to make a big deal out of this.
This is turning into a rant. Yeah, being able to have this Bieber experience really like just. I mean, it kind of sucked missing out on the My World tour, but I mean, being able to just see Justin and actually like feel the reality of his presence, it was just like really comforting to me because he really inspires me and he really like just helps me move forward in all the crap that goes on.
I know he doesn't know it, but well, he probably does, but like everything that I've been through, that we've been through, you listen to his songs and you feel so much better, and like it's so hard not to cry just talking about it. But
you feel his emotion in his songs.
And he's so loving, and he really cares about you, and he's just there for you, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So this Bieber experience really helped us, and experiences really helped us, and these surprises. This whole journey has been a real big surprise here and there. It's good.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for watching.